How many of you feel like this was your team this week? Well, that was actually Justin Tucker just 10 years ago. But he worked on his craft, and now he's setting NFL records on game-winning kicks.
It bounces off the crossbar, and it's good! Oh my goodness!
In the immortal words of Kevin Garnett, anything is possible with steroids. Welcome to the best and worst of NFL Week 3. I'm your dumb football host, Brandon Perna, and I have one question for 49ers fans. How can you expect to defeat a man who is willing to fornicate with a football?
How can you not be romantic about football, man?
I think Lions fans are not romantic about football, but there's something to be said for getting fucked really hard once a week, which certainly happens to Lions fans. These are your Sunday Week 3 scores. My condolences to all of the losers, but let's recap all of the best and worst moments from this weekend.
How can you not be romantic about football, man?
Let's get it, sports. If you want to get real romantic with football in an explicit way, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com and use my code That'sGoodSports14 to get 14 free meals plus free shipping. Now that football season is underway, I personally am busier than ever, which is why I rely on HelloFresh and their quick 20-minute meal option so my routine is never altered. I've got 70-hour work weeks plus a 1-year-old running around the house, so HelloFresh protects my blind side by saving me time and money, allowing me to keep my routine and my wife and I fed. One reason I love HelloFresh is because it gives me new ideas for meals I've made many times. We did burgers this week, and HelloFresh's special sauce house burger was a huge hit. Just don't confuse the mini vinegar bottles for shooters. That was just one of 50 menu options, and I get the family size, so I have leftovers, saving me even more time and money. The 5-star recipes are printed out and are super easy to read and follow, and everything is pre-portioned, so you're never wasting food. Again, go to HelloFresh.com, use my code That'sGoodSports14 for 14 free meals across your first 5 boxes, plus free shipping. All right, best and worst. Starting with the Chargers, Chiefs. Best, the Chiefs lost. That's it. Best, the Chiefs are below 500 for the first time since Week 10 of 2015. The Chargers' pants may have been yellow. Fitting, since they nearly pissed away a 14-point lead. And 3 first-half turnovers by the Chiefs. Casey erased a big lead and the Chargers blew one. So it looks like the last 5 years for both teams, but with a slightly different ending here for the Chargers. Patrick Mahomes threw his second and third September interceptions. How is this even possible? Maybe because we all knew a no-look interception was inevitable. Maybe if your receiver is wide open, it wouldn't hurt to look at him. This was one of 4 total turnovers for the Chiefs, including a late Mahomes interception that gave the Chargers the chance to win. Best, the Chargers won in spite of mistakes like illegal shifts, erasing touchdowns for the second straight week, poor clock management from Brandon Staley, and a missed extra point. But they did it with balls, converting a clutch 4th down, learning from the Ravens, who of course learned from Big Fangio. Best. After 2 straight losses, the Kansas City Chiefs are so desperate, so in need of extra offensive help, they are signing Josh Gordon to add to their arsenal of ball catchers. Now, I am rooting for Josh Gordon. I really want to see him stay on the straight and narrow, but this smells desperate, Kansas City. Best. Justin Herbert forcing me to Google Tracy Wolfson's height. After seeing this clip, I could have sworn she was no more than 3 feet tall, but she's 5'2". Cardinals, Jags, best. Kyler Murray gets around the edge for the easiest touchdown run since Peyton Manning. This is where his lack of height actually helps him, literally under the radar here, and doubled down on his meditation celebration, praying to his one true God, Buddha Baker. Worst. An NFL official hit the football with his flag while the ball was still mid-air, causing Rondale Moore to muff a punt. This was a big play that got the Jags back into the game. That said, a ref who can throw with that kind of accuracy should actually be the Jaguars starting quarterback. Here's a play that really got the Jags back in the game though. A lesson, don't attempt a 68-yard field goal at sea level when your opponent has a returner who took one to the house just a week ago. Worse, Trevor Lawrence threw a pick six on a flea flicker to Byron Murphy Jr. This basically sums up the Jags season so far, full of promise, but ultimately a disaster. Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are now tied with 7 picks each, leading the league. Both of them putting their teams in prime position to draft their replacements in 2022. Bears versus Browns, worst. Justin Fields and the Bears offense. Just 68 passing yards for Fields, even fewer rushing yards, 6 completions for the QB, and he took 9 sacks, including 4.5 from Myles Garrett. This was the Browns defense everyone was waiting for. And the Bears offense that's going to land Matt Nagy that sweet, sweet McDonald's manager's job. Myles Garrett's 4.5 sacks was still 2.5 sacks short of tying Derek Thomas at 7 for most in a single game. The Eagles actually own the single game team sack record with 14, which happened back in 1952. Best, Odell Beckham Jr. was back in the lineup for Cleveland and put up solid numbers. 5 grabs for 77 yards. Beckham plus 230 combined yards from the Chubb Hunt backfield gave the Browns more than enough on offense to get the win. Hunt definitely had the run of the game for the Browns. Worst, and then the Bears finished with 1 net passing yard. All of the lost yards on those 9 sacks totaled 67, meaning Justin Fields' 68 passing yards was just +1. Speaking of +1, Josh Allen's is Dawson Knox. Washington versus Buffalo. Best, Josh Allen had vintage 2020 Josh Allen type of a game. Throwing for 3 touchdowns in the first half, including this one to Emmanuel Sanders, who makes an incredible sliding catch for the score. Allen finished with 358 passing yards and 4 TDs. Shout out to the Bills' offensive line for allowing 0 sacks against what might now be an overrated Washington football team pass rush, but still, Chase Young, no sacks. Best, running back Antonio Gibson, still very fast. He takes this screen pass all the way for a 73-yard touchdown run. Nice to see Ron Rivera remembers Antonio Gibson was amazing last season and got him involved in the offense. Best, kicker Dustin Hopkins recovers his own kick, aided by some gusty winds. But still insane considering it was not an onside kick, which led to Taylor Heineke going airborne for the touchdown. Washington was back in this game for a second, until Josh Allen took Dawson Knox to prom, where these 2 horny devils scored before the prom even started. Buffalo all the way this time, for sure. Colts versus Titans. For the Colts, best and worst. I'm gonna be playing this best. This hot music track provided by Colts owner Jim Irsay himself. It's some sort of rendition of All Along the Watchtower, which probably has Jimi Hendrix overdosing again right now in his grave. Best, I figured out why Darius Leonard is so good. He disguises himself as a running back, forcing opposing QBs to throw easy interceptions his way. Plus, he can recover his own fumbles. The Colts' 2 best players are a guard and a linebacker. Not a winning recipe in the NFL. Worst, Carson Wentz really should get vaccinated because even his injuries are very contagious. Quentin Nelson carted off the field in this game with, an ankle injury. Wentz's injuries transmitted to the Titans as well, who saw A.J. Brown tweak a hamstring. NOLA versus the Patriots. We got a big old worst here. Mac Jones pulling out McCorkle, channeling his inner Jameis Winston, throwing a really bad interception that should should have been a pick six. He should have thrown 2 pick sixes in this game, but I guess PJ Williams was down before he fumbled. But in the second half, Mac Jones throws a real, actual pick six. And finally, when it rains, it pours. 3 interceptions for the Mac attack. Best? This. The most Jameis Winston touchdown you'll ever see. Jameis Winston is Patrick Mahomes with 10x the turnover rate, although those gaps seem to be narrowing more and more every week. Then we've got the Falcons and Giants. Worst, anyone who had to watch this damn game. Adam. Best, the Falcons finally figured it out at the end, putting together a game-winning drive that ended with a 40-yard field goal at the buzzer. That makes 2 straight weeks that the Giants lose on a field goal as time expires. At least no one was offsides this time. The Bengals beat the Steelers. And we're gonna watch this one in old-timey highlights thanks to Steven Ruiz. Worst, Big Ben throws a very washed interception to Logan Wilson. Hard to believe Big Ben got older this offseason and somehow didn't get better. And I don't like calling Big Ben washed. It's offensive to washing. No amount of washing could ever cleanse Roethlisberger of all his sins. This was one of 2 interceptions for Wilson on the day, the 3rd in the last 2 weeks. Best, Tyler Boyd said no thank you to being tackled and ran through the Steelers defense for this 17-yard touchdown. Best, my favorite Ben Roethlisberger throw right here. So much velocity that it knocks Big Ben over. This is how you know he's got to retire, okay? My other favorite Big Ben throw was here. Faced with 4th and 10, Big Ben threw a swing pass to Najee Harris that basically sealed the win for the Bengals. Baltimore at Detroit. We've got a wide open touchdown alert. The widest, openest touchdown of the week goes to Devin Duvernay on the Ravens. 3rd and long, and the Lions simply forget to defend the end zone. The Lions officially have arthritis in the kneecaps. Extra bad since that Tucker kick left the entire NFL weak in the knees. Worst, now I know why they call him Hollywood Brown. He'll fuck you over as soon as you think you've made it. Hollywood had 3 massive drops in this game that kept the Lions in it. More like Hollywood, Florida Brown. Best, after a last-minute drive and a converted 4th and 19, Justin Tucker single doinked a 66-yard field goal at the buzzer. Holy shit! What a kick. It wins the game for the Ravens, and it set an NFL record, besting Matt Prater's 64-yard field goal back in 2013. It solidifies Tucker as the most clutch kicker since Adam Vinatieri. That's 50 straight 4th quarter or overtime field goals made by Justin Tucker. The dude has never missed a kick in the final minute of regulation. Worst, the referees might have missed a clear delay of game penalty that would have made a 66-yard field goal a 71-yard field goal. So either the Lions would have held on and won, or Justin Tucker would have just hit a 71-yard field goal. Dolphins versus Raiders. Best, Derek Carr, who's playing at an MVP level. Started off slow with this pick 6 though to a Landon Roberts, who takes it 79 yards the other way for a TD. Last week, Lamar Jackson started his win against the Chiefs with the pick 6, so I'm starting to think first quarter pick 6s might be good luck. Worst, the Dolphins, who were backed up at their own goal line, decided it was a good idea to throw a screen pass to Jalen Waddle, who was standing in the end zone. Jacoby throws it a little too high here. Jalen Waddle had no blockers in front of him, and well, it went about as well as you could have imagined. A critical 2 points for the Raiders. Worst, fast forward to overtime after Jacoby Brissett tied the game. With time running out, the Dolphins have a 4th and 2, but instead of going for it and trying to win the game, they tie it up with the Jason Sanders field goal, leaving the door open for the Raiders to win it on a Daniel Carlson field goal. Buccaneers versus Rams. Well, Sean McVay was absolutely jacked to take a 7-point lead at halftime. And statistically, he should have been, given that the Rams are now 40-0, leading at halftime under Sean McVay. And it feels like they're never going to lose, especially when you get 4 more touchdown passes from Matthew Stafford, including a bomb to Deshaun Jackson, who just reminded everyone that he's not retired or injured. Still fast. Sean McVay is yoked, we know that, but what people don't know is he's the only coach in the NFL who actually burns more calories than his players during the game. That's how you stay fit. Best! Sony Michel went balls out in pass protection, absolutely annihilating Ross Cockrell. Matthew Stafford hasn't seen this kind of protection ever. He played for the fucking Lions his whole career. He's never seen protection like this. Best! Tom Brady finishes as the Buccaneers' leading rusher with 14 yards. He also threw for 432 meaningless yards and was sacked 3 times. Best! Matthew Stafford is looking like a great dark horse MVP pick. 343 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, and most importantly, he bests that son of a bitch, Tom Brady. Seahawks fall to the Vikings. Best. Add shoes to the list of things Kirk Cousins doesn't believe in. Taking one of his shoes off before a 3rd down snap. The Vikings didn't convert that 3rd down, but they did hit 64% of them in total. Kirk Cousins throws away shoes faster than the Seahawks throw away leads. That's my favorite highlight from the weekend. Worst, the Seahawks defense looks terrible for the 2nd week in a row, giving up 453 yards, 30 points, and getting 0 takeaways. And Dalvin Cook wasn't even playing. They gave up 112 rushing yards to Alexander Madison. Prayers up to Ryan Neal, who might very well be dead after he just got annihilated by CJ Ham. And then finally, Sunday Night Football.
How can you not be romantic about football, man?
Best. The 49ers-Packers game ended on a game-winning field goal. One of 4 games Sunday decided by a last-second kick. That's football excitement, titillation. It was an excellent day, capped off with an exhilarating Packers win. The 49ers erased a 17-0 deficit, but Aaron Rodgers set up the game winner with just 37 seconds left and no timeouts. Worst, the referees were awful in this game. Most notably, this roughing the passer call against the Packers, and most notably again, this helmet-to-helmet play that nearly killed Devontae Adams that was not called. The refs have been too busy making sure players aren't getting their fucking feelings hurt that the players are now getting their brains bashed in. Best? George Kittle. He's still just pleasant to watch, you know? I could watch George Kittle break tackles all day. The 49ers did not sack Aaron Rodgers once, and the Packers were down to their 3rd string tackle. No pass rush, and no regular rush for the 49ers. It looks like those running back injuries are becoming an issue, and will Nick Bosa ever return to his dominant form? I don't know. Thanks for watching the best and worst of week 3 here in NFL football world land of YouTube shit talking stuff. Subscribe, please, damn it.